She, Song Jinqing, was reborn into the Xuanjing Continent of the interstellar era, holding ancient martial arts secrets and possessing innate wind-type abilities and gemstone appraisal talents. She was a woman who aspired to become the first gemstone appraiser in the interstellar world. After living in the novice village for 16 years, I suddenly realized that there were 4 words on my forehead. The third female supporting actress. Upon closer inspection, there are still subtle small characters in the gaps. Plot trigger countdown. 10, 9, 8 Hey. Wait, when she realized that she was just a character in the book. Song Jinqing just wanted to stay away from the male lead, further away, and live a peaceful life, but energy depletion, plant and animal variation, and radiation are almost everywhere here. How did you mix and become a knight for the female supporting members, a darling of the villains? It's so scary outside, I really want to roll back underground. But Grandma said, if you can't get into college, you're not allowed to go home. Keywords of the novel. Her home really has mines without pop-ups, her home really has mines. Download the complete TXT collection, and her home really has mines. Read the latest chapters on mining. Chapter 1. Audience Candidates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Audience Candidates, number 103. In the magnificent palace-like room, a gentle yet mechanically cold AI female voice rang out. In the center of the house, 7 serious-looking people dressed in formal attire sat on a sofa wrapped in black leather and gold. At this point, the light screen in front of the 7 people displays information about the same person. Name. Song Jinqing. Gender. Female. Age. 16. Applying to school/college. Megasally/Flowing Light. Hometown. Liopa Mountain Underground City, Abandoned Site, Spirit Level. A++, has not yet made a second breakthrough, Spirit Level. SS Muscle and Bone Grade. E Physical Fitness Level. D Completion Rate of Junior High School Hours. 100% Academic Rating. 5A Comprehensive Rating. A+ Professional Skills Series. Mineral Energy Department Skill Level. Beginner Current Professional and Technical Level. Junior Gem Appraiser. The 7 mentors of Megasally fell into a brief silence as they looked at this resume. Gem Appraiser, still in active service. One person sighed with emotion, but there was no surprise on their face. I'm only 16 years old, it's really rare. On this continent called Xuanjing, people can cultivate their bodies and souls by utilizing various natural energies. Among them, mineral energy is the most precious and powerful, but due to the depletion of local natural ores and high radiation from exotic crystal nuclei, energy is difficult to absorb, giving rise to the profession of gemstone appraiser. At present, the Xuanjing Continent has a relatively complete appraiser rating system, which is divided into 6 levels. Apprentice, Assistant, Junior Appraiser, Intermediate, Advanced, and Master. But due to the naturally explosive energy field of crystal nuclei, it is extremely difficult for gem appraisers to advance. Many people may only be assistants after a lifetime of hard work. By the beginning, they can almost be competed for by major companies, and many teachers in the college are only at this level. So, a young person who is only 16 years old, has completed primary education and has become an official appraiser, can definitely be considered a genius. But there will always be but. The grade of tendons and bones is too low. Someone shook their head regretfully, but this type of tendon and bone needs to be processed and processed. I'm afraid it's not because I live too long. Yeah, if it were a plant energy system, it would be even better. The impact of physical fitness becomes more and more evident in the later stages. She was able to reach the beginner level, probably because she put in a lot of effort, but that's all for now. He is a hard-working child and deserves praise, but I believe we should not encourage unrealistic dreams. Yes, while she's young, she should consider transferring. So, not through. I'll give it to you. After all, her grades are impressive enough. That's right, although it's just a physical waste of bones and muscles. I can get an A+ overall score and a 5A in all subjects, which is very excellent. I'm also waiting for confirmation. To be determined. To be determined. Song Jinqing became an observer for Megasally. The deadline is 1 semester. If she can pass the corresponding assessment within this semester, there is a chance for her to become a full-time employee, provided that she is advised to switch majors. We believe in the power of hard work, but adapting to talent will make your journey much easier. The teacher who came to communicate spoke politely, looking at the girl in the star network projection who was dressed in simple clothes and had a slightly pale complexion, but still looked exceptionally beautiful. He spoke very frankly, mineral energy is not suitable for you. Okay, thank you, teacher. I will consider it carefully. Song Jinqing's voice was gentle, her expression respectful, and she looked like a well-behaved and obedient woman. The teacher nodded in satisfaction. He is really sorry for this girl. The average life expectancy in the Xuanjing Continent is 300 years, and 30 years old is considered an adult. The common basic education period is 15 years, and the junior high school period is 5 years. Calculated based on the general enrollment age of 6. To complete basic and primary education, one must be in their 20s or 60s. This little girl, being able to enter the high school department at the age of 16, is really amazing. However, although there are irreparable flaws, the good thing is to listen to advice. What she didn't know was that, from childhood to adulthood, Song Jinqing had heard similar things many times. If she had really listened to advice, she would have switched majors 800 years earlier. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Let's set sail. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Let's set sail. After turning off the communication, Song Jinqing stretched lazily. Although it was somewhat different from what she had expected, she still managed to secure the entrance ticket to Megasally. In fact, she really didn't want to take the exam in this lifetime and had no interest in the strongest high school in the whole continent. She originally wanted to take the exam for a school close to home. However, her grandmother only recognized the golden signboard. Ha! Song Jinqing took a deep breath and looked at her packed luggage again. She looked at the big bundle with a diameter of over 1 meter and let out another long sigh. She was reborn in the interstellar age. Can the compression space button that can store things be popularized long ago? Master said that when she was weak, she needed to exercise her muscles and bones at all times. Grandma took it as a decree that she could hold half of the dungeon space bracelet on her wrist, and was only allowed to hold some precious gems. The rest became a burden. Grandma, I'm leaving. Song Jinqing approached and hugged Grandma. This spirited little old lady was already 270 years old, and due to her old age, her bones had collapsed. Now she only reached Song Jinqing's chest height. Song Jinqing was reborn into this world and had a short fate with her cheap parents, almost relying on her grandmother for survival. Grandma gently patted Song Jinqing's back and said, "All right, don't leave any ink stains. If you can't catch the car, run for me. Come on, even if she's already a little old lady, she's still a cool and handsome old lady who speaks the truth. Don't expect her to have any sentimental separation with you." It wasn't until Song Jinqing walked away and her figure carrying a large bundle disappeared on the horizon that the old lady softened her gaze. And Song Jinqing heard her last exhortation from a distance, full of confidence: if you can't get into college, don't go home. It takes 4 hours to depart from the terminal of Liupa Mountain Dungeon to Baishu City where Megasally is located, as there are speed restrictions on the ground. Due to being kicked out of the house by her grandmother early in the morning, Song Jinqing didn't even have breakfast. Take the backpack and take out the boxed lunch inside. This was made by Grandma for her when she went out in the morning. Because it is a high-end insulated box with preservation function, the small vegetables inside are still green and crispy. Very good. Jinqing thought that she didn't want to eat wilted vegetables at all. In addition to the vegetables that must be eaten every day, Grandma's love breakfast also includes a fried rice noodle, 2 eggs, and a small bowl of salty and fragrant porridge. As soon as the lunch box was opened, many eyes, both bright and dark, focused on it. There is no way, the technology of the Xuanjing Continent is top-notch, but it is deeply affected by radiation. The vast majority of animals and plants mutate to be inedible, and a very small number of ancestral crops exist in research centers that can be counted with just 2 hands, which are basically invisible to ordinary people. Exploring through the spirit mirror can bring back some, but the cost and rarity are not much better than those of research centers. Even if some occasionally enter the market, they are incredibly expensive. In Jinqing's food box, there are meat, eggs, and vegetables, which are rich and balanced in nutrition, with all colors, flavors, and flavors. How can they not attract attention? This needs to come from a certain family to eat like this. The passenger in the first-class cabin roast while filling his head. He took a look at the dress of the girl. The sweater and jeans were simple and really simple. But when his eyes fell on a section of white and flawless slender wrist that was exposed because he had rolled up his sleeves for dinner, the green bracelet flickered, the green halo was vaguely shaped, and the smoke around the wrist curled around, and it was like a small green dragon. Oh! Even the most ignorant person can see how extraordinary this bracelet is. Confirmed, no matter what family, they are all unattractive people. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Number 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Number 3. Someone silently took out a nutrient and squeezed it into their mouth like toothpaste, either hungry or greedy. Their saliva was almost unable to maintain their basic dignity, and they could only relieve embarrassment by eating. But even though there are many manufacturers on the market, with colorful packaging and various flavors that you can't think of but cannot find, the essence of nutritional supplements is still technology and ruthlessness. Moreover, due to the limitations of raw materials, those so-called flavors are very plastic and have a strong chemical sense. Compared with the natural food in the girl's lunchbox, they are even more unpleasant to eat. Jinqing didn't know how much she was catching at this moment. She was a down-to-earth villager who had never been to the Liupa Mountain underground city in her first 16 years of life. There were not many people in the underground city, and most of them were just like her. Occasionally, there were senior brothers and sisters who came from afar, and they rarely told her about external matters. I didn't even think about being low-key. The people who come out of the slope don't have any low-key traditions. Before leaving, Grandma never instructed her to keep her wealth hidden, only demanding that she eat, drink, and study well. Jinqing felt the gaze of others and could slightly sense the emotions inside, but she thought these were all aimed at the jade bracelet. After all, it was indeed valuable. Liupa Mountain used to be a mining pit. Even though it has now become a waste mine, people in the underground city can still live a worry-free life by relying on their old foundation. Every year, senior brothers and sisters come back to exchange gemstones. No matter why, she doesn't really care. But her profound and calm demeanor in the eyes of outsiders did not last long. Jinqing cleaned her lunchbox in the bathroom and looked up to see something on her forehead in the mirror. The 4 big characters, number 3 female supporting actress, are all golden and have colorful neon light strokes. Jinqing rubbed her eyes, thinking she was dazzled, but the 4 large and prominent characters were still there, no matter how she looked horizontally and vertically, jumped and squatted. As I got closer, I looked again and realized that under the big text, there was the same pattern as the background. How could there still be small text that was still jumping? It was written as follows. The plot triggered countdown 10, 9, 8, 7 hi, what the hell? Countdown, whether you know why it exists or not, brings a certain sense of oppression to people. Jinqing's whole body was tense, and every cell was in a state of war. 6, 5, 4 with a bang, the entire spaceship seemed to have been hit and tilted out. Song Jinqing shouted in her heart, here we are, while howling, it's not good or bad. She quickly adjusted her body posture at a critical moment and aimed at an angle in the bathroom, burying herself before the impact of the landing arrived. The impact came as scheduled. After a burst of trembling and dizziness and tinnitus, Song Tianqing felt that her body was hurt and destroyed. Fortunately, the jade bracelet awesome opened the protective cover in time and wrapped her tightly. At this time, it was only skin pain, no bones or muscles were injured, and no exposed wounds were found. After stabilizing slightly, she squeezed out of the deformed carriage and found a space to stand straight. The crescent-shaped blade of light descended from the sky and rushed straight towards her face. Almost subconsciously, after so many years of practicing martial arts, Song Jinqing's instincts appeared. With a slight movement in her footsteps, she dodged the attack in a particularly twisted position within the limited space and escaped 2 meters away. And with this flash, the balance under the soles of the feet was lost, and he sat down on the ground. As Song Jinqing was about to get up, she happened to see the mirror that had been neatly cut in half and fell here. On my forehead, the last one in the countdown has not completely faded. Then the next second, another line of words appeared on the mirror. The male protagonist failed to successfully save the third female supporting character, causing a shift in the plot. At the moment of seeing this line of words, Song Jinqing suddenly lightened her body, as if the invisible shackles had loosened. At the same time, her heart was beating rapidly with a thump, as some distant and almost forgotten speculations and memories resurfaced in her mind. Looking up at the sky, a pure white mech blocked the second attack that was supposed to be directed towards the spacecraft. She had never seen this mecha before, but at this moment she whispered its name. Dawn. She even knew that the driver's name inside was Jinqing. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Tool Man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Tool Man. Holy crap. Song Jinqing covered her face, briefly depressed for 3 seconds, then quickly left and finally emerged from the spaceship through various cracks. The journey was incredibly smooth, as if all the obstacles along the way had disappeared. She even picked up her big package on the way. When she arrived at a safe location, Song Jinqing's mind was still dazed. She didn't even come and temporarily stored the package in the storage space, causing people who had also escaped to look at her like fools. She had a pregnancy, and after coming here, she only spent a few months with her biological parents. The adventurer couple handed her over to their grandmother and didn't know where to go. Although she had once had some doubts about the name of the underground city of Liupa Mountain, after all, this place name was just like a protagonist in a novel she had read, Tuanhua Jin De Mao. However, she lived a busy and fulfilling life, having to endure moderate blows from her master and face lifting from her grandmother every day. Who would doubt the authenticity of their life? Moreover, although Song Jinqing is a female supporting character in the book, she appears very few times. Some boring readers have specifically counted the duration of her appearances in Jinyan's harem. Among the 7 female supporting characters, Song Jinqing's descriptions add up to less than 1,000 words, which is completely different from other female supporting characters who often use 20.30 chapters to describe the plot. Her greatest role is to lead the way for the male lead and find the golden ground of Liupa Mountain. She didn't even provide a background introduction. I don't know about age or anything, I only know that my personality is quiet and patient, silently and secretly in love with the male lead. She is just a tool on the male lead's path to advancement. She is a character that Song Jinqing would not have remembered if it weren't for having the same name and surname. And the reason why this character can rank third among many female supporting roles is purely because she appeared early. In the original work, Song Jinqing's spaceship was attacked by the exotic creature Golden Light Giant Mantis. As she was about to be swept by the light blade, a white mech descended from the sky to save her life. From then on, the young girl established a heroic image of the male lead as a free-spirited and unrestrained character, with deep affection rooted in her heart. Song Jinqing is a person who has lived seriously for 16 years, a flesh and blood ordinary human. She's not the cold 1,000 words in the book. Song Jinqing's heart gradually calmed down. After too long, she had already forgotten about the plot and so on. If it weren't for the sudden countdown and the subsequent attacks, these would probably never have been remembered in this lifetime. For her, the deviation of the plot is both the beginning of horror and a blessing for the future. Song Jinqing suddenly felt lucky. Before she could even become the Song Jinqing in the original work, her tragic fate turned around. At the end of the battle, the ambushed golden praying mantis was eliminated, and the rescue team arrived at the survivors. The captain stepped forward to express gratitude. "Look at that white mech, it seems like Major General Jing," a person next to him suddenly said. "General Jing? How did you tell?" The person was wrapped in the mech, but his face was not visible. Last year's Huachao Festival Inter-School League, General Jing used that mecha to perform a super impressive display action. "Oh, yes, I remember. He graduated from Megasally and was invited back to school last year to be a guest performer." Just as Song Jinqing relaxed, her heart pounded again when she heard the 4 words Megasally. The memory of her death resurrected and attacked her again. She finally knew why she had become familiar with the name Megasally when she first heard it. She thought it was because the school was famous and she had seen it somewhere before. Well, it turned out to be because it was the male lead's alma mater or the legitimate female lead school in this article. Song Jinqing then remembered the plot of the interaction between herself and the female lead that had been forcefully inserted into the 1,000 words, and her teeth ached uncontrollably in an instant. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Surprise and Surprise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Surprise and Surprise. The survivors of the disaster gathered around the rescue team, expressing gratitude or admiration. Song Jinqing consciously retreated, feeling flustered and skeptical about her situation. She just wanted to hide herself and not get involved with any plot characters, especially the male lead. Glancing at the light screen of Jinao, the black screen in the off-light state reflected her portrait, and vaguely, she saw something on her forehead again. The screen is too small to see clearly. Song Jinqing hid to the side, took out a small mirror she carried with her, and took a closer look. Meeting with the male lead soon, countdown 5, 4, 3. Wipe. Song Jinqing's legs softened in fear, and she immediately turned around to run away, but it was still too late. "That little Song, come over here for a moment." The captain was calling her. As the only intercontinental spacecraft passing through the Liupa Mountain underground station, Captain Wu is familiar with many people in the underground city. This time, Song Jinqing went on a long journey, and many familiar people couldn't let go of the child who was growing up. They greeted the captain and asked him to take care of him. The captain is also a real person. When something happened, he thought of coming to find the little girl. He only let go when he saw that the person was okay. Uncle Wu. Song Jinqing's heart trembled and she snapped back to her senses. At a glance, she saw a tall man standing behind the captain, with silver white hair, green ghostly eyes, fair skin, and a lazy posture. "Xiao Song, come on, let me introduce you to you. This is Major General Jing." Captain Wu was very enthusiastic and didn't know if he knew Jing Yan or was just a simple social bully. He then pointed to Song Jinqing and said, "Major General Jing, this girl is Megasally's freshman this year and can be considered your junior sister." "Of course I know he is Jing Yan. White hair and green eyes, it's really hard to recognize them." The villain in Song Jinqing's heart kept shouting, "I don't even want to know him. General Jing, thank you for saving me just now." Even if her heart broke down again, Song Jinqing still expressed her sincere and solemn gratitude to the male lead who represented constant trouble. At this moment, Jing Yan stood in front of her, a seemingly cold but passionate and upright young man. This young man just blocked the attack of the second wave of light blades for her, and his rescue team defeated the exotic beasts and saved everyone. He is a real hero and deserves her respect. You're welcome, it's the duty of a soldier. Although Jing Yan was a cool guy who didn't smile, his voice was gentle and deadly. Song Jinqing's little heart was tickled twice more, and then she was forcefully pressed back by her rationality. Even if the person in front of him appears real, he is still a paper man who always gets into trouble. Song Jinqing's cognition wanders back and forth between reality and illusion, and all confusing and difficult to justify aspects are addressed with the spirit of AQ. Xiao Song, General Jing is about to return to Baisu City, so I can take you back. Captain Wu did his best to the younger generation entrusted to him and shamelessly spoke to Jing Yan. Surprisingly, the other party agreed. Unfortunately, this was a complete surprise for Song Jinqing. No need, no need. She hurriedly waved her hand, Major General Jing has official business to attend to. I'll just wait for the next bus. Oh my, you girl, don't you have to report for duty today? Let me tell you, if there are praying mantises on this route, it will definitely be cleaned up by the troops. We all need to be evacuated nearby, and your itinerary will be delayed for a few days. Ah. Song Jinqing's face turned pale, causing a delay in reporting. That was indeed a big problem. Song Jinqing hesitated for a moment between avoiding the male protagonist to protect herself or to prioritize her future. Then she heard Jing Yan say, I don't have any official duties to go back to Baisu City, so it's not troublesome. I can take you along. Jing Yan, the male protagonist, belongs to the type of being cold on the outside and hot on the inside, both honest and passionate. At this moment, her cold face softened due to her friendly language. For the little girl, it's really a damn irresistible charm that explodes. Song Jinqing's heart beats so fast that her liver trembles so violently. Danger, very dangerous. Just as Song Jinqing was about to continue refusing, she was slapped hard on the back by Captain Wu and said, Xiao Song, thank you to Major General Jing. It would be impolite to refuse again. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Harmful and Unbeneficial. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Harmful and Unbeneficial. Jing Yan returned to Baisu City to pilot a private spaceship. He was supposed to be on vacation today, but there was an incident where the golden light giant mantis attacked the passenger spaceship. As he happened to be close, he took a temporary shift. The spacecraft had already started autopilot, and Jing Yan glanced at the reserved girl next to him with the corner of his eye. Sitting in an orderly manner, with a stiff face and a straight waist, without looking askance. I haven't changed my posture since I boarded the spaceship. It looks extremely nervous. Jing Yan felt that the girl was too cute and wanted to laugh but didn't dare to actually laugh. The child at this age was too sensitive and uncomfortable to hold back. In the end, he couldn't help but ask, Are you afraid of me? I'm scared, I'm so scared. Song Jinqing turned her head stiffly in the direction of Jing Yan, trying to bend her lips and squeeze out an unnatural smile. No, you look very kind and amiable, she said, ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Jing Yan couldn't help but burst out laughing, covering his eyes. Kind. Amiable. You're so cute. Ah. Song Jinqing's eyes turned into Tuansky, eager to swallow what she had said. Why did she use such an obvious honorific like you? Oh, and the latter word is too exaggerated. But, aren't you a cold-faced cool guy? Such a hearty laugh, be careful not to ruin your reputation. Are you a freshman in the first year of high school? Jing Yan didn't know if it was too boring and wanted to continue communicating. Don't be nervous, Lao Wu didn't say it. We are alumni, relax, relax. I'm just an observer. Song Jinqing didn't want to climb this alumni relationship at all. I'm not nervous, it's just. I've been underground for a long time, and I'm afraid of society. In that moment, Song Jinqing had a wonderful inspiration and placed a label of social anxiety on herself. Oh, Jing Yan looked as if he had believed it, but he didn't plan to give up. You're a resident of the underground city. That place is really closed, and primary and middle school are all online classes. That's not enough. Megasally is a school that values team spirit very much. If you want to make reliable teammates, you have to learn to open up. Song Jinqing nodded and said, looking particularly educated, but refused to reply with another word. In Jing Yan's view, this is not just a manifestation of severe social anxiety. He doesn't actually like to meddle too much, but for some reason, when he saw Song Jinqing, although it was the first time we met, he seemed to be very familiar with her. The feeling was like seeing the little sister next door, making people couldn't help but take care of her. It's not that difficult to communicate with people. Come on, give it a try and say something to me. It's important to have long sentences and not say a single word. Jing Yan's normal social short-term crash course officially began without any prior notice. Song Jinqing had no idea what to say. Don't be nervous, you can talk about your major, teacher Jing Yan began to guide. I'm from the mining department. And then. Specializing in gemstone identification. Continue. The technology is pretty good. Is there anything else? Your string of Red Bull blood, not treated properly, has been worn for a long time and injured your body. Oh, still. Jing Yan was just trying to lure the social anxiety girl to talk more, but he didn't expect such news to be revealed when the other party finally said a long sentence. He took off the red bracelet on his wrist and said, "This is Lan Hong. I have measured it with an instrument and the radiation value is already within the safe threshold." Well, it's okay for others to bring it, you can't. Why? The sunstone on your neck has degenerated to a point where it's almost invisible. These warm gemstones are used to relieve the coldness in your body, aren't they? This involves personal privacy, or is it related to one's own weaknesses, which should be a topic to avoid? Jing Yan didn't feel offended. The girl had clean eyes, serious expressions, and even showed some concern, even though she was hiding well. Jing Yan nodded candidly and admitted, "That's right. The characteristics of gemstones are unpredictable, you know." Song Jinqing realized when she said the word, "you," that she had used honorific language again, almost biting her tongue. Seeing Jing Yan's serious face and no longer mocking her, she relaxed. Although it is easy for a certain type of gemstone to have similar energy fields, especially the closer the colors are, the greater the probability of energy fields being in the same frequency, but it is not absolute. Your string of blood red agate looks like a warm series, but it is a variant. In simple terms, although the energy field seems to have been purified and combed, and some energy has been reduced, in reality, it is still. Bursting magma fluid is harmful and not beneficial to you. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Megasally. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Megasally. After waking up from a nap in the driver's seat, Song Jinqing's spaceship landed on time at 3 p.m. When bidding farewell, Jing Yan thanked her first. Song Jinqing did not dare to take credit. Although according to the plot in the original work, this bracelet is indeed a hurdle for the male lead and a proof of his betrayal by his family, they have just saved her. You saved me first. Song Jinqing wanted to say something clear, but they just met by chance and there was nothing clear about it. Jing Yan lifted his face and smiled again. His green and ghostly eyes were filled with a smile. Next time we meet, we'll just call him Yan. You don't need to, you call me old. Song Jinqing pondered, not scared by the male lead's aura, always unable to resist her tongue nodding. Brother Yan, I can't say it for now. Jing Yan finally waved at her, gesturing to get closer. Song Jinqing leaned over in confusion, and Jing Yan leaned down and whispered in her ear, "Actually, I'm also socially fearful." According to the guidance provided by the school, when we arrived at the central square of the campus, it was exactly 3:30 p.m., which was exactly the agreed time. But the guide teacher just contacted her and said there is an urgent matter to handle at the moment, and she needs to wait here for a while. She is not a serious new student and cannot follow the normal enrollment process, so someone needs to guide her to complete the enrollment registration. Jinqing didn't rush in time and casually sat down on the bench in the central square. She first took out a mirror and looked at her forehead, which was as smooth as jade, without any strange handwriting. Just now on the spaceship, that line of text still appeared. At that time, through the reflection on the control panel, Jinqing saw it. The plot deviation is 30%. These words appeared when Jing Yan asked her to call her Yan Gu. In fact, Jinqing really wanted to call out and see if the plot would continue to be biased, but she still couldn't get it out. At this moment, there was nothing left in the mirror. Is it because Jing Yan has already left? Is it only when there is contact with the male lead that those strange handwriting appears? What do these words represent? It doesn't seem like a cheat or something like that, and it doesn't seem to have any binding force on her. At least so far, she hasn't received any notification that the plot is about to be destroyed due to deviation. Jinqing rubbed her forehead, feeling that it had been another journey, an attack, and a speechless event like hammering through books. She was already mentally exhausted and shouldn't have thought too much to torture herself. She took a deep breath, took the initiative to pause her thoughts, and began to observe everything around her with novelty. At this time, it is not yet the official start of the school year, and there are not many people on campus. Although many people return to school early due to the flower festival, the campus of Noada is still deserted. This tranquility is exactly what Jinqing likes. She took out a piece of bread from the space bracelet, which could be considered as a lunch filled with a hasty nutrient solution. Before going out, Grandma brought her a lot of food, which she put in bracelets to keep fresh. As for the big package, starting from leaving Jingyan, it was pulled out and carried back again, and now it was placed next to the chair. Although the sky is high and the grandmother is far away, she is not really an ignorant girl. She still knows how to exercise by being conscious. While eating bread and looking around, Jinqing couldn't help but sigh in her heart. She was truly the top-ranked senior high school in the Xuanjing realm, exuding quality and temperament everywhere. Even the roadside stones had a profound appearance, which was completely different from the rural areas she had lived in. After a few bites of bread, Jinqing gulped down half a bottle of water, feeling a bit less depressed due to a series of experiences and being stuck in an undetermined situation. A new life is still worth looking forward to, and besides, being undetermined means there is still hope for her to become a full-time employee. She has confidence in herself. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Chat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Chat. Is that her? No, it's not like this appointment with you. Why don't you dress up? The girl in front of me was dressed too plainly. Loose white hoodie, light blue jeans, slightly distant, not very clear in appearance, but quite white, with black and straight hair. As Jinqing squinted her eyes in the sunlight, enjoying the comfortable and relaxed sunshine, a silver spindle-shaped shuttle stopped not far away, and the people in the car looked in Jinqing's direction through the glass. Che, it's intentional to dress up like this, to distinguish from previous pursuers, so as to leave a deep impression on Jing Xiao. Jiang Tsong shook his head. Some girls like to set up their own character designs. What kind of person is as light as a chrysanthemum? How could a real person be as pale as a chrysanthemum in use? That kind of thing to blackmail people. Yu Haiqing frowned. Is it possible to mistake someone? The time and place are all right, she's the only one here. Jing Xing, who had been cold on the way, rubbed her hair irritably and pushed open the door to get out of the car. Half a month ago, someone sent him a message that he didn't pay much attention to. It's not difficult to check his campus account. Although he has set it to private, he can still obtain it from some club files and other places. Similar pursuers have done this in the past, which only caused their annoyance. I just wanted to blacklist, but during this step, I triggered the automatic blacklist reply set by the other party. This person claims to have discovered his secret. It's said to be a secret, but it's not really something new. It's just that I secretly found a buyer and bought a batch of gemstones that have not been officially verified. Although it is not allowed for schools to privately buy fake goods in order to protect the interests of students, in most cases they will turn a blind eye. But the trouble lies in the fact that the inter-school league is about to start. During the league, purchasing illegal gemstones without authorization can be considered cheating. Once convicted, not only will they lose their eligibility to participate, but they will also be recorded in their files, directly affecting their future development. Jinqing was very angry. When these gemstones were purchased, the inter-school league had not yet released any news, and they were not bought for him at all. But the edited video sent by the other party in the end captured his face very clearly, as well as a rare red diamond taken from a man with sunglasses, which still had exclusive cutting marks. What's even more cunning is that this person also captured a movie promotional poster on the wall next to the two of them, which is currently showing a movie. If this person catches anything else, he can still deny it and say that the gemstone is legal. Red diamonds, rare items that will have exclusive numbers once unearthed, combined with the unique cutting process exclusive to red diamonds, I can't deny it at all. In terms of time, although there is room for argumentation, it is easy to be seen as sophistry without solid evidence. He called directly to inquire about what the other party really wanted to do. Yes, I'm sorry, I really like you. Please give me a chance to meet privately, and I promise to delete the video in person. Jinqing walked toward Xuanjing and felt a surge of anger as he thought of the other person's words and language. Is that you? Xuanjing was drowsy from the sun when suddenly a shadow cast over her. When she opened her eyes, she saw a tall, black-haired, and dark-eyed handsome man with a handsome face full of shadows staring at her with anger. Xuanjing was a bit confused. She didn't know why this handsome guy, who looked like her, was talking to her like that. Her round eyes blinked and she said, "Ah." Pretending to be silly. Ha. Jinqing laughed angrily. Along the way, Jiang taught him many tricks to be careful of young girls. He said, she may not admit her mistake and pretend to be innocent to attract you. After all, she wants to attract your attention and not be held accountable by you. She will definitely pretend to be unaware. The reaction of the girl in front of her happened to match. Xuanjing was even more bewildered, especially when she saw two handsome men of the same height approaching. The three of them formed a row and stood in front of them like a wall, full of a sense of oppression. "Hi, beautiful woman, let's talk." Jiang suppressed Jinqing. Although he knew his friend wouldn't hit a girl, he was still afraid that he would do something difficult to explain in public to leave someone with a reason in his anger. Xuanjing glanced at the man who was talking, with red hair and brown eyes. He was very healthy and handsome, which was the type she liked. Unfortunately, at this moment, he was smiling casually, but there was not much smile in his eyes, which was not very friendly. End of this chapter. Is chapter 9 you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is chapter 9 you? Did you post the video? On the other side, wearing silver-framed glasses, Yu Haiqing, who is also tall but has a more refined appearance, looked at the girl who was still in a daze and cautiously asked, "Or, is it you who invited him to meet here?" Finally, there is someone who can provide some information that she can understand. Xuanjing quickly shook her head. "It's not me, I don't." Quickly deny the triple play. Pretend. Pretend again. You just want to date me. I'm here, why are you pretending? Jinqing's usual temper is not like this, let alone exploding at any moment. The outbreak at this moment is really due to the recent mental exhaustion caused by the lingering confession information, coupled with the lack of mental regulation, which has caused him to lose control. Ha! Song Jinqing looked around and saw that there were no other people nearby. There were people watching the excitement from a few tens of meters away. This student, please calm down. You really got the wrong person. Being shouted at for no reason makes anyone feel uncomfortable. But Song Jinqing is a reasonable person. Judging from these people's glamorous attire and serious faces, they don't seem to be troublemakers, so she knows that she might be sitting in the wrong place and causing misunderstandings. Since it's a misunderstanding, it's better to explain it earlier. I'm waiting for the teacher here, I don't know who you made an appointment with. She bent down and picked up the huge package next to her, easily carrying it on her shoulder. I'm leaving now. Song Jinqing's exaggerated package stunned the three of them. Just now, due to an angle issue, the package was blocked by the bench and no one saw it. Is there anyone in this era who carries such a simple burden? And coincidentally, the mentor arrived. Are you Song Jinqing's classmate? The mentor was a young-looking beauty who was surprised to see three boys surrounded the girl she was going to pick up. Yes, it's me. Song Jinqing recognized the teacher's uniform at a glance. Are you teacher Su Yaksu? That's right. I'm Suya, who are these people? Suya read Song Jinqing's profile and knew that she came from a remote mountainous area, where it's difficult to find anyone who can get into Megasally for decades. So she was surprised that she would meet acquaintances here. It was a misunderstanding, they got the wrong person, Song Jinqing quickly explained, distancing herself from the relationship. She came to study in Megasally and didn't want to get involved in any troublesome relationships at all. Almost simultaneously, Jinqing's communicator received another message. Senior, I'm sorry I can't make the appointment today. I really like you, but I'm also very scared. I'm sorry, please allow me to adjust again. Next time, I will definitely be able to bravely stand in front of you. Jinqing was so nauseous, this is already the third time. The person behind him has been playing with him for the third time. The same goes for the first two times, when they said they wanted to meet, but stood up at a critical moment. And no matter how sharp his questioning words may be, the other party can treat them as invisible and repeatedly tell themselves how much they like him, immersed in deep affection and unable to extricate themselves from being moved. Disgusting to the extreme. He took a deep breath and tried his best to calm his emotions. He glanced at the innocent woman carrying a bag in front of him and said, "Sorry." Although the facial expression is a bit distorted, apologizing can definitely be considered sincere. I heard you are a resident of the underground city. If you are not used to living here, feel free to contact me at any time. After leaving the handsome man who had been confirmed to have mistaken the person, Song Jinqing followed Suya to the dormitory with three embarrassed faces. It's great here, Song Jinqing kept smiling. She had the unique black hair and eyes of the Eastern ethnic group, with a light and gentle temperament that easily won the favor of others. Thank you for your concern, teacher. The teacher instructed to switch majors as soon as possible, and after receiving a smiling response from the other party, he left satisfied. He thought that the auditing student was pretty and had a good temper. She is most afraid of encountering stubborn children. Children at this age, who are all sophomores, have a lot of big truths in their hearts that are difficult to convince. Song Jinqing's dormitory is a double-room apartment. She arrived early and there is still less than half a month before the official start of school. Her roommates have not arrived yet. Turning around and closing the dormitory door, Song Jinqing checked the relevant pages of the college website for this semester's auditing subjects. Introduction to Gem Energy Field, Second-Order Classification of Gems, Intermediate Gem Inlay Studies. Just listen in. She has long been accustomed to the colored eyes of others. Just finished registering for school, the system pops up an invitation letter. It is the invitation letter for the annual flower festival in the Xuanjing Continent. During the grand event, there will be an inter-school competition covering all schools in mainland China. The registration threshold is low, as long as there is a formal student status, it is sufficient, but the elimination rate is extremely high. It is not an exaggeration to say that 1 out of 10,000 people can ultimately enter the finals. Even so, everyone's enthusiasm for registration is still high. After all, as long as they advance a little bit in the promotion competition, they can earn a lot of credits. Jinqing is an observer. What is the most lacking? Credits. She must take double the credits this semester and achieve a perfect A in the mid-year exam in order to stay in Megasally and negotiate with her supervisor to stay in the mining department as much as possible. Someone will come to deliver pillows if you don't fall asleep now. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Qualifying Competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Qualifying Competition. After nearly a week of single-player promotion, Jinqing passed 5 levels and defeated 6 generals, finally standing out from a large number of students and successfully advancing to the main competition. At this point, the number of participants has been screened from nearly 1 million to less than 100,000. Looking at the 15 credits that had already been credited, Jinqing nodded with satisfaction. Although the scores given in the audition are not high, it is much more efficient than applying for a large number of elective courses to increase credits. Moreover, in the upcoming main match, with each win, the points will double. Please enter the examination room in an orderly manner and enter the corresponding simulator according to the selected sequence number. The competition is about to start. Please take your positions and press the start button when you are ready. Jinqing entered the spiritual mirror space according to the operation requirements. Unlike the previous individual test, the main race started with a qualifying race. The qualifying matches will be held in the spirit mirror space, which may be individual or team matches. And this one happened to be a team game. At least 5 people should form a group, with 1 game per 1,000 people. The top 20 teams in each game will advance. Please form a team as soon as possible for members who have not yet formed a team. After entering the countdown, any members who have not yet formed a team will be randomly assigned. Enter the countdown in 5 minutes. The preparations for the league have been in place, and from the start of the main match, every game will be live-streamed online throughout the entire process. However, in the early stages, there were nearly 100 venues and the competition started simultaneously. On average, the traffic was not too high for each venue. Of course, if there are celebrity team members or there are particularly eye-catching events, it has to be considered separately. The competition has not officially started yet, and the contestants present are currently waiting at the central square. Jinqing sat on the step seat next to the square, constantly scrolling through various team-building information, and her fingers quickly clicked to request to join. Unfortunately, all we received were rejections. She's not in a hurry, anyway there must be a team to take her in the end. But she didn't know anyone here originally, so she relaxed her fingers and decided not to click. The difference between joining and randomly choosing was not significant for her. Lingjing space is not a virtual reality, and the images displayed by the contestants are all 1.1 replicas of themselves. Jinqing's gentle and ladylike temperament, coupled with her beautiful appearance, has attracted a lot of attention from those who are secretly rubbing and rubbing. She doesn't seem to have a team yet. The person who successfully formed the team will have a team-exclusive badge on their left arm, and there is nothing on Jinqing's black sportswear. Hello, Lao Li, do you want to summon the beautiful woman in? No, Lao Li rolled his eyes at the proposer. The competition is about strength, not beauty. Look at her, she looks delicate. We're competing for a spot, not a day trip. Miss, you look really nice. Lingjing doesn't allow any modifications to her appearance. Don't look anymore. You can't even summon people in. Why? We're clearly missing one more person. She is a gemstone appraiser. She is probably just an assistant at most, with limited purification appraisal speed and no use in the beginner stage. According to the exploration rules of the spiritual realm, before the competition starts, non-team members can be viewed by others for relevant information, such as dedicated skills, but skill levels cannot be seen. This is a bit like opening a blind box. In the competition, although gemstones can also be used to score points, natural minerals are relatively rare, exotic crystal nuclei are difficult to obtain in energy bursts, making the processing process very time-consuming. For the vast majority of teams, relying on gemstones for scoring is very inefficient. But she's really good. Looking. Yan Kong still wants to fight for it. No, it's just not possible. Jinqing didn't pay much attention to the discussions of the people around her, but she couldn't resist some of them getting into her ears. Jinqing was also very helpless. She specially wore a black outfit and a high ponytail today, just to make herself look more powerful. The result is still being treated as a soft girl. 1 minute before the countdown, Jinqing stood up and prepared to walk towards the entrance. Random allocation now seems to be a certainty. After being assigned, there is a high probability of being disliked by teammates. In fact, if it weren't for the team having to enter, she felt that it wouldn't be much of a deal for her to do it alone. End of this chapter.